Subscribe and hit the bell icon to never miss another update from India Forums.
I just had the phone, I had one tripod, and I had bought a couple of lenses online, which were really helpful. That's why I was able to get some wide shots, some really extreme close-ups. You don't necessarily need to have all the resources in the world to go out and make a film. It's not like I had a big filmy launch. I had to go from office to office, producer to producer, requesting for work. In fact, it took me almost 2.5 years to get my first break. All the work I'd done 3 films up until then, and none had really kind of clicked at the box office. So I was very worried about my career. Yes, of course, nepotism exists. Favoritism exists. Camps exist. But you tell me, which line of work does it not exist in? I have seen it in front of my eyes that there is a lot of partiality that goes on, and camps, as I said, do exist.
Heard rumors about you and Jennifer.
Yes, we have also heard rumors about us. Yeah.
Is it a rumor? What do you want to say? Hi guys, this is Kajal Gupta from India Forums, and today I have with me a very special guest, Tanuj Virwani, who is here with us because he's done something magical in this lockdown. So he's done something that you cannot even imagine. He's pulled off an actual short film shot on an iPhone. So Tanuj, congratulations on that. And we'll start by talking about it as well, because you tell me, what is the short film? What is the idea of Anisht? What does it mean? Tell us something.
So firstly, thank you so much for the wonderful introduction, and I don't know if it's magical. I mean, I leave that to you guys, the viewers. When you'll watch the film, you'll most welcome to come to your own conclusions and give me your feedback. But the idea behind this was, honestly, Kajal, over the last 4 months, all we hear about every day is COVID-19, lockdown, unlockdown, social distancing, all these terms which were perhaps alien to us just a few months back. So it's been a while since I faced the camera, obviously, because we can't shoot. So I just wanted to, I did this as much for myself as I did for my fans, that I wanted to get back out there, make something, make sure I don't get too rusty creatively as an actor. Tomorrow, God willing, when I face the camera again on a proper actual set, I should be raring to go. So those were the reasons why I made this. And Anisht is basically, it's a bit of a hybrid movie. It's part crime saga meets a haunted house movie. And I think the message, the moral of the tale is that what goes around comes around. If you do good, that will come back tenfold. And if you do bad in life, that too will come back. So that's why the way I shaped the entire film is circular. The film starts off as with this guy who's the oppressor, and he's got another man on his knees who is the oppressed. And at the end of the film, you realize that he is now the oppressed, and there's someone else who is the oppressor. So I think that is what I think, in some way, if you can kind of pass on a nice subtle message to the audience, along with educating them and along with entertaining them, I think your purpose is served. So that was the whole gist behind Anisht.
Yeah, I think that's lovely. But I'm going to take a moment and tell you that I watched it, and I watched it at night. And that has really scared me. I am totally scared. I anyway get scared easily. But the one thing that I really want to mention are the sound effects. The sound effects are bang on. I mean, and honestly, I'm not saying this just for the sake of it. I mean it, that it's so much better. Like, that short film is so much better than the rest of the stuff that I have actually watched in the lockdown. So I'm gonna just take this moment and tell everybody who's watching this interview that if you have not watched the short film, please go watch it after this interview. It's worth the time.
Yeah, and for those of you who do not know where to watch it, you just need to go onto my Instagram page, and it's there as an IGTV video. That's where I've uploaded it, so you guys can check it out. And hopefully I will be successful in spooking you all a bit, because that's the whole point. Just like Kajal was a bit spooked out.
Right. But Tanuj, you're an actor, and you pulled this off. You were the writer of this short film, you were the director, cinematographer, everything. You acted in it. Okay. So
I basically pulled off a full Dev Anand on this. Yeah.
So what is that experience like doing all the roles?
It is. It's scary. And at the same time, it's incredibly gratifying if it all falls into place well. Because what happens is, it's very easy for me to lose perspective. As an actor, I may want an extra take, but as a director, I think that's good enough. So sometimes you're at odds with yourself, because normally we are. Normally what happens is, normally we are reporting to other people. So we are getting feedback from our collaborators, our co-stars, our writers, our directors, showrunners. But in this case, I was the employer as well as the employee. So it was a little difficult to kind of take a step at the back and get and look at things in an objective manner. But I hope I was able to. And also what I did is to take the pressure off me. As an actor, on the day of the shoot, I focused basically on the acting. So I did a lot of pre-production. As I was donning multiple hats on this, so I had to make sure that when I was writing, I was just the writer. When I was directing, and I did a lot of the direction in pre-production. So I would write down a scene, I would do the short breakdown. So I knew exactly what I had to shoot, what I had to shoot. So when I was shooting the film, I was focused on only the acting bit, because otherwise what happens is if you've got your fingers in too many different pies, it gets extremely confusing because I had to rely on myself, right? I was both the employer as well as the employee. I was both the actor as well as the director. The lines get a bit blurred. It's a little difficult to view yourself objectively when you are only directing yourself. And of course, when you're acting on film, it's very different to say acting on stage, where when you see people performing in a play on stage, it's extremely different, the style of acting. Over here, you're acting for the camera. So because I knew what my edit was like, I kind of tried to perform keeping that in mind. So it was very interesting, and I think I learned a lot. I think that's the greatest takeaway. We are all hoping to get back to normal life sooner or later. So in the meanwhile, I think this is a nice way for one to kind of work on their skill set.
Right. So I think I'm sure it was like one different experience doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was from the phone, it was quite funny, I mean, because we are used to having such big cameras and all. Here I just had the phone, I had one tripod, and I had bought a couple of lenses online, which were really helpful. That's why I was able to get some wide shots, some really extreme close-ups. So it really taught me that you don't necessarily need to have all the resources in the world to go out and make a film. And I hope that all you budding filmmakers out there who are watching this will take some encouragement and inspiration from this. And man, if you have an idea and you have the hunger, you can go and do it. You don't need to wait for someone to make it for you.
Yeah, totally. Because the lockdown has actually taught us to, live with whatever we have.
Absolutely.
And,
Yeah.
So moving further, Tanuj, or, may I call you Vayu? Because
Absolutely. Yeah.
Inside Edge just completed 3 years. And, when you look back at the show and when you look back at the 3 years after the show, so what is something that you will always remember?
Kajal, it's just been such an amazing roller coaster ride. It started off in such an uncanny way. I mean, I remember I got a call saying that they wanted to audition me for an Amazon Prime show, and I was like, sure, because at that point Amazon Prime had not really made their foray into India. They were only into you could go online and buy stuff, but not in the entertainment landscape. So I went and I gave the audition, and ironically, my audition was the opening scene of the first season, which is the cheerleader scene. Only, of course, there was no cheerleader over there. There was a chair, there was me, and there was a cameraman and an AD, and that's how we did the scene. And I remember walking out of that, and I'm like, this might just be my best or worst audition ever. I don't quite know how this is going to be. And it's really weird because sometimes as an actor, you think you've given a good audition and you don't get a call back, and sometimes you think you've really botched it up. वो call back आ जाता है. So I don't know what this is going to be like. 3 days later, I get a call saying that the team and the director really like me, so they would like me to come in and meet them. And I went and I met them, and the first thing he asked me is, do you play cricket? So I was like, yeah, I play cricket and all. He's like, okay, great. So we're playing tomorrow morning at Oshiwara. Why don't you join us and all? So I was like, great. So I'm like, shit, I think this is also like an audition only. So I went and all. And I go, he was the captain of our team, Karan Anjuman, and he's like, why don't you go and bat? So I went and I went, I took strike, and I don't know what happened, but like in that heat of the moment, I just like took a step down and I went to smash the ball and I got clean bowled. And I'm like, hey, Bhagwan, I have failed at this miserably. Now he thinks not only can I not play, but I've also lied that I can play, and ye roll to gaya haath se. So that's a joke that Karan and me still share till date, because I have a lot of cricket to play on the show, right? And I'm a decent cricketer. I can play. I'm not a professional cricketer, but I khelta hu. But just I think I got overwhelmed by that particular situation. And It's just been an incredible journey, yeah. I remember when we were shooting for season 2 and the entire team was in Georgia. That's where we were shooting, and we have a WhatsApp group and someone messaged saying that, hey, guess what? Inside Edge is nominated for the international Emmys, and yeah, we thought it's a joke. We thought someone is just pulling a fast one on us, like we didn't take it seriously. And next morning we get a call from our producers and from everyone back in India, and we're like, is this actually happening? I mean, something that started in Oshiwara has now reached the international Emmys. It was a very gratifying experience, and up until that point, um, all the work I'd done 3 films up until then, and none had really kind of clicked at the box office. So I was very worried about my career and like the direction that it was taking. And I'm like, man, do I even have a career here? Will I have a future? And Inside Edge really resurrected me, and really, for me, that's the proper beginning of my career, because the amount of love and recognition and opportunities that the show has provided me has been amazing. And even season 2, though, by then at least there was a lot of curiosity and everyone was anticipating the show. And I think we managed to live up to expectations, because Amazon said, yeah, go make season 3. So yeah, excited. It's been
Right.
beautiful.
Yeah. But not just the show's popularity or the success, but the Inside Edge actually managed to, foray into Indian content on social media. Like, people started recognizing, oh, there's Indian content on
Yes,
on OTT
yes.
platforms as well. And, and with owing to all the success and popularity, how did life change after Inside Edge,
Life. See, the thing is, being brought up in a family that has had a close connection with the movies, and also I tend not to take success or failure too seriously, because I've seen my mom do it for over 35 years. So I don't get, I get happy in my heart, and I feel, okay, chalo, I'll live to perform another day. This will probably create more opportunity, but beyond that, I don't just pat myself on the back and get all happy about it, because I also understand the reality of the situation, that it's a constant struggle, it's a constant challenge. Like today, after season 1, I was a bag of nerves before season 2 of Inside Edge came out, because I'm like, I hope people didn't think the show was a fluke, or that I tukka maar diya, and now second season no one will enjoy it and no one will watch it. So I was going mad, and all my co-stars are like, what's wrong with you? We are sitting on a good product. Just have faith and believe in yourself and in the product itself. But I tend to get that way. So I just feel it's important now that people liked it. Now I have to get better. So whether it's Inside Edge 2, or now hopefully with upcoming season 3, or with all the other shows that I'm doing, the hope and aspiration is just to get better. So I don't when I'm 75, 80 years old, I can sit back and look at my body of work, God willing, if I'm still around and if I'm still in the industry, then I can look back and maybe give myself a pat on the back. But right now, because it's so competitive, Kajal, as you are well aware, so we just need to kind of be in the moment, and let other people praise us. हाँ, ठीक है. You feel happy about that, but then you understand with that also comes a lot more responsibility, because पहले तो किसी की expectations थे नहीं, और अब काफी सारे हैं, तो it's important that I not just live up to it but surpass it.
Definitely. And that's so rightly said. But Tanuj, like you mentioned, you come from a family that has been in the industry. Your
Yeah.
mom, Rati Agnihotri, you are the son of Rati Agnihotri. So, and recently, I mean, in the last couple of years, this conversation has
Yeah.
become the talk of the town. So,
Yeah.
has this nepotism term, has this debate ever come to you? Has anybody ever spoken to you about this?
Like here and there, but honestly, Kajal, nothing personally to do with me, for the simple reason that see, my mom is no longer an active part of the industry. Secondly, a lot of people are not able to make the connection instantly, because she still goes by her maiden screen name, which is Agnihotri, and my surname is Virvani. So it's only like, maybe if people Google me, or if people hear from other people, then they understand that we are mother and son. And it's not like I had a big filmy launch. I've had to go from office to office, producer to producer, requesting for work. In fact, it took me almost 2.5 years to get my first break. So I've not really had any of those sort of privileges that maybe some star kids have. But at the end of the day, I feel even being a star kid, even those who get opportunities and stuff, finally it's the audience that makes you or breaks you, right? I mean, there's a reason why Ranbir Kapoor or Varun Dhawan are doing so well. I mean, I don't want to take names, but there's so many star kids who have just come and gone without making any impact at all. So I just feel at the end of the day, yes, of course, nepotism exists, favoritism exists, camps exist, But you tell me, yeah, which line of work does it not exist in? You are a journalist. I'm sure if your parents were in the same field, they would do whatever they could in their capacity to push you forward. The same happens as an investment banker, as a lawyer, as a doctor, as a businessman, as a real estate developer. It happens in every field, not just in our country, but all across the world. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, didn't George W. Bush Sr. do everything in his capacity to make sure that his son becomes president? And he did, right? So why don't we talk about nepotism there? So I think it's something that is definitely present, but it does not define what the industry is. So I feel some people like to bring it up in the wrong way, and I don't think that's very nice, you know. So
Yeah, right. And you know, in the end, it's 2020. People are going to watch movies according to their own will. You know, they are buying tickets. So content is king today, no matter who,
Absolutely.
which son or daughter is on the screen. But you know, like you said, nepotism exists everywhere. But what's exclusive in this industry, in this entertainment industry, are these two terms, outsider and insider. You
Yeah.
know, so these tags, I think, what is your take on these two tags?
So definitely, I mean, it's a very, very good point you have raised. I definitely feel that the outsider as well as insider tag exists, and then there also exists, which I feel most of us fall into the category where we're neither outsiders, where they welcome us into the industry, but up until the door, not into their homes. So that also exists. I think I would probably fall in that category, but I have seen it in front of my eyes that there is a lot of partiality that goes on, and camps, as I said, do exist. And but I don't know if that's an outsider or insider thing. You know, it's a thing, right? Like tomorrow, even in your line of work, you would be more comfortable working with your friends, right? So I think sometimes that factors in over here. You know, like certain people. Because see, when you're making a film or a web series, you're spending so much time, man, like months and sometimes a year goes by. So you want to surround yourself with people who you get along with, people who you like, people who are your friends. So I guess that could be the case. But yes, of course, this outsider and insider thing is a definite reality, and it does happen.
Yeah. So tell me something about your personal journey, like, any audition experiences that you recall, because you've done Bollywood movies as well, and,
Yeah.
and you moved on to OTT after doing movies.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I'm sure you're open to both right now. But
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I mean, firstly, for all you aspiring actors out there, I want to say that please audition as much as you can. It's very important that you put yourself on tape. Maybe you don't get one particular role, but if the casting director sees that tujhme wo baat hai, you have that one spark in you, they will definitely keep you in mind for the future. So that's very important. And I also feel the more instructions you take from them, the better you will become as an actor. You just subconsciously start understanding the medium and the field and the craft a whole lot better. So I think auditioning is very, very important. And just know that most successful actors today have also not have been rejected for at least 9 out of 10 auditions. I have given plenty of auditions back in the day. I have auditioned for web series, for films, for a few ads. And sometimes it's not about whether you're a good actor or a bad actor. You need to be the right man for the right job. I think that is what is most important. So that's the thing. And any instances from auditions? Well, I have quite a few actually. The first time I auditioned, I just completely clamped up. It was for a film, and I went fully prepared, and I went in character, and I was wearing clothes, and I had styled my hair in a certain way. It was a kind of geeky character, and I walk in and I see there's a cameraman, there's an AD, there's a sound recordist, and there's a director. So 4 people, and I was not expecting that. I don't know what, I just blanked out, and I just went full cold turkey, and I'm like, I'm really sorry, but I have to leave because I can't do this. And then I went home, and then I think a couple of days later I performed that scene. I didn't get it, but it was very embarrassing. So till date, I'm not very comfortable with auditioning because it's about imagination, right? I mean, when you're in a room, there's a plain room, and you have to imagine a beautiful heroine, or you have to imagine a beautiful location, or you have to imagine so many things. It's make believe. It gets a bit difficult. As opposed to when you're actually on the set and there's so many physical things present over there, which kind of bring out the performance. But auditioning is important, and I am absolutely for this new trend that has emerged in Hindi cinema and in the web industry, because it's given birth to it's found so much new talent, which was anyways there, but it's just about finding them and procuring them for the right projects. So I think casting directors have to be given a big pat on the back for that. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I got Inside Edge, man. I mean, it was through Anmol Ahuja and Abhishek Banerjee at casting day, and Abhishek is doing such wonderful work today as an actor. So it's phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah. Tanuj, looking at your past work, and you've done such distinct characters, be it Inside Edge, Codem, Poison, all the shows. So,
Yeah.
what are the kind of work? What is the kind of work? What are the kind of characters you want to do next?
There's one genre that I would definitely like to try my hand at, and that's comedy, because no one has really offered me a comedy till date, and I would like to believe I would be pretty decent at doing comedy, and I hope if someone's listening to this, they offer me something cool in comedy. So comedy is something that I would like to tackle. Apart from that, Kajal, see, I'm just happy with the kind of opportunities the web space has provided me of late. As you spoke about Poison, Poison was a revenge drama. I've been a fan of movies like Bazigar from the time I was a child, and it was a dream role for me to play a character like that. Then Inside Edge, of course. I mean, I love cricket and I love the mercurial nature of Vayu, so that was great. Codem again was very interesting because Jennifer is actually the hero of the show, and we had a good kind of vibe with each other, character-wise, where I was the Watson to her Sherlock. So it gave me an interesting thing. Now, even with my upcoming work, I'm playing a villain in one show. I'm playing a mafia leader in one. So I'm trying to concoct a bouquet of work which is diverse from one another. Because tomorrow I don't want to hear from my fans or my friends or the journalists or anyone watching that, oh, ये सिर्फ एक type का acting करता है. Because sometimes actors do get kind of stuck in a rut and they feel that they're good at that, so they will do only that. It's important to kind of try and experiment and think out of the box, and there will be times where you fall flat on your face, but so be it. Yeah. I mean, you got to be brave. You got to, try out different things as an actor. So,
But one thing that I'm sure of, that maybe I'm not like, comedy can happen, but one thing I'm sure that you are going to be offered a horror movie for sure.
yeah, man. Horror also is a very interesting genre, because see, in a horror film also there's so many sub-genres, right? I mean, it can be a paranormal activity kind of thing, or it could be like a typical ghost kind of thing, or it could be the fear of the unknown, or it could be a psychological horror film, which is kind of what the one I made was. There's so many different things one can do. You can set it in the future, in the present, in the past, in a different kind of society. There's so much you can do. So I feel, yeah, horror done right can be really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. But Tanuj, just it came to my mind right now that have you had any ghost experiences or paranormal experience in real life?
No, I haven't. And I hope I don't ever. No, I haven't, man. I've heard my friends tell me stories and all, though I don't really believe them. But no. And I am a big fattu, and I am really scared of the dark. And even when I'm sleeping at night, I either keep the bathroom light on and the door slightly open, or my doggies will sleep with me. But I'm a big fattu, so I don't even know how I made the horror film. I think maybe that's why I made the film in the day. So, yeah. No, but I have not had any such paranormal activity or any experience in my life. It's going to be really ironic if something happens tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. If it does, then you let me know.
Maybe that can be my next script, right? I mean, like this is all part of a movie, and I'm this actor giving this interview, and I'm laughing and joking about this, and at the same night something spooky happens. Great. I'll give you a writer's credit if that's the story that I make.
Definitely, yeah. But also, just coming to the last question, because you mentioned Jennifer, we have heard rumors about you and Jennifer.
Yes, we have also heard rumors about us. Yeah.
Is it a rumor? What do you want to say? Like, do you want to say?
I mean, see it's one of the pitfalls of being in this business is if you tell people that you get along with someone, or you spend time together, or you genuinely enjoy each other's company, straight away you're linked up, and we actually thought this would probably die down after the release of Codem, because sometimes when you've got a show coming out, these things crop up. But it just seems to have gathered momentum, and wherever I go, people ask me. But no, we are just friends, and I know it's a very cliche thing to say, but she is someone dear to me, and that's it, man.
Yeah, I think now everybody's got the answer now that you've said it on record. Okay, so just on an ending note, on a closing note, Tanuj, you want to tell us something about your future projects? Where can we see you next?
I can tell you about my future projects, but I cannot confirm or deny the release dates because at this point, Kajal, nobody has any idea of when what is going to release. Okay, so I'll start off. There's going to be Inside Edge 3. We are looking at a year-end release, but again, that's up to the bosses. Then there is this show I'm really excited about called Cartel. It's an all Balaji show. It's got Hrithik Dhanjani, Jitendra Joshi, Supriya Pathak, Monica Dogra, Tanisha Chatterjee. A lot of really interesting talent. So that's the one where I'm playing the head of the mafia family. There's another Amazon Prime show called Kamatipura with me and Meera Chopra. So that's set in Kamatipura, and I play a sex trafficker. I am the antagonist, so I've never played a negative character. So that should be interesting. Hope you guys like that. Then there's Code M Season 2. We haven't started shooting for that as yet, but that should happen well when it does happen. I've done a cameo on this Netflix show called Masaba. That's a very sweet slice of life show that Sonam Nair, who had made Kafir, and Gippy has directed. It's got Neena Gupta and her daughter Masaba. It's based on their lives basically.
Yeah.
And there are a couple of shows. One is with Madhavan that is called Seventh Sense, which I need to shoot in the UAE, and the other one is Line of Fire with Jimmy Shergill and a bunch of other really exciting actors. So yeah, so a lot of stuff in the web space right now.
That is a lot, Tanuj. Like,
Yeah,
it's
so there's a
lot.
lot, yeah, but Kajal, we don't know now when because in on most of these projects they've either not started or they've almost ended, but I have like 1-2 days work left. So we're just trying to figure out, because I think now is a good time because people are starved of good content, right? I mean, you can't even go to the cinema these days. So we're hoping to put stuff out, and yeah, I hope you also enjoy it. Yeah, I've tried to do different stuff from Vayu. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a lot. Sooner or later, but you're going to see a lot of you on a screen, and it's going to be amazing.
I hope you guys don't get sick of me because that would not be nice.
No, not at all. So I think it was such a lovely conversation, Tanuj. Thank you so much for
Absolutely,
joining.
Kajal. Thank you. You've done a great job, and just take care of yourself, stay safe, and hopefully the next time we interact, it will be face to face.
Definitely. We look forward to
Yeah.
that.
All the best.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work. Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hey guys, check out our revamped website at www.indiaforums.com to get your daily dose of entertainment.
Hey guys, this is Tanuj Birwani, and you are watching me exclusively on India 4. Cheers.